What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mike Robinson, and this is another episode of Let's Take a Walk. I hope everybody is having a great week so far. Um, I definitely am. Been kind of busy, but busy is good. Tonight we have a special guest. I know that we usually do this on Fridays, but special night, special circumstances. Tonight we have an entrepreneur, we have a filmmaker, we have a creator, a creative, and just an all-around businessman. I mean, I know he doesn't look like a businessman. He looks like a business young man, but he is a man nonetheless. He does everything in the entertainment realm that you could ask for, even at a young age. And so this one I'm very excited for. Mr. Michael Cleos Chin is in the building. I hope I said the name right. As I said, he's a filmmaker and an entrepreneur. He's a creative. He does it all in the realm of cinema. For those of you who may not be familiar with him, I'm going to give him a moment to kind of reintroduce himself and just give a little background to who he is and some of the things that he has going on. So with that being said, man, Mr. Chin, you got the floor.
Absolutely, yeah. So, like you said, I'm Michael Cleos Chin. I'm a faith-based filmmaker. I don't make those cheesy church films. I make real, raw, authentic films that no matter what background you come from, church, world, or secular, you'll still receive the universal message of love. So, I currently have three Christian movies out on Tubi. Two of them are Christian dramas. One called The Wages of Sin. The other is called A Mother's Daughter. And then I have a Christian superhero movie out called The Keys of the Kingdom. And then also my wife and I, we have co-authored a book together called Almost Not Born. That's available on Amazon. And those three movies are free to stream on Tubi. So if you have Tubi TV, the app, or on your computer, or if you go on your smart TV, you got Tubi. Watch all three of those movies: The Wages of Sin, The Keys of the Kingdom, and A Mother's Daughter. They're free to stream. And then you can, if you like, you can get a DVD on Amazon.com. So yeah.
That is amazing. That's amazing. But before we go a little further, we have a new guest on the platform as well. She is an artist manager. She is a filmmaker of short sorts herself. She's an actress, a businesswoman, just an all-around boss. Her name is Apostle Dr. Veryl. I hope I said that right. Veryl Howard. You name it, she does it. She fills the popcorn machine. She does everything. So for those of you who may not be familiar with Miss Howard, I'm going to give her a moment to kind of reintroduce herself and give a little background to who she is and some of the things that she has going on. So with that being said, Dr. Howard, you have the floor.
Thank you, and I apologize for being a newcomer on the scene. I was hanging out from an international conference call. But wow, I mean, you said a lot. I want to say first and foremost, before I'm any of those things, I'm a servant of the Most High God. I gotta put God out there because I wouldn't be able to do anything without Him. It takes a lot of tenacity, strength, steadfastness, energy to even work in the field that Michael and I work in. And it also takes a lot of hope, not giving up, trusting God, leaning on God, knowing that the promise of God that He spoke in your belly is going to come to pass. So I just got to say that first and foremost. I've been blessed, as you said. I have a company called Faith Management and Talent Casting Company, in which we do represent national recording gospel artists. We also do branding and marketing and putting tours together for people if needed. In addition to that, we represent film directors such as this wonderful young man, Michael, who's here to help them take their vision from point A to point B. In regards to that, I've been blessed to be a plus size model over 50 with all this white hair. I've also been blessed to write several books. I need to pick it up and start writing some again because life gives you a lot to write about. And in addition to that, the Lord has allowed me to do acting, which was something I wanted to do at a very young age. And I gave it up to work with national recording gospel artists. And I thought my dreams were done, that it was never going to come to pass. And then I found myself acting all over again. There's another film producer I used to manage by the name of Joshua Coates, and he had a movie out called Deliver Us from Evil. And I acted in that. And that kind of put that bug and excitement back in me again. So I've been blessed to be an actress on the number one show right now for our fifth year called Double Cross. And I'm looking for more number ones to be a part of.
Wow, you said a mouthful there, Dr. Howard. Um, where do we begin? Um, Mike,
Mhm.
can you tell me, or can I call you Mike? I'm sorry, I'm just taking liberties.
Yeah, you can call me Mike.
Okay,
No
okay.
worries.
I don't want to take nothing for granted.
No, no,
Um,
no, not at all.
how did you get the film bug? Like where does it begin? Where does your story begin?
Yes, similar like Apostle Veryl was saying, acting. So, I've always had dreams of being an actor and went to acting elementary, middle, and high school. Went to elementary, middle, high school, performing arts schools, and majored in acting. And so then I was like, well, you know what? I would like to see stories done like this or stories done like that. And so then that was my call to action to actually write my own films and create them. That way, I can always act in my own films whenever I want.
Wow, it's amazing. That is amazing. How long? What would you say is the time span between the time you you started, making strides towards that, and the point where you felt like, okay, now I'm ready to go to the masses? Was there a short time? What do you feel like it was a long time between between the way you started to the point where you are now, or was it a quick? Do you feel like it was a quick work?
I mean, I felt like once I did my first feature film,
Hmm.
then like a few months later I got it on Tubi. So that's to the masses right then and there. So I would say it was quick.
Okay. Okay. So like, were you ready? Do you feel ready? Like, do you feel like, what I'm saying? Or are you kind of like flying by the seat of your pants at this point? Or do you feel like you kind of got a grasp on on everything that's going on around you?
Yeah, I feel like I got a grasp around everything that's going around me.
Okay, awesome.
And there's always more to learn every day. But yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Howard, can I ask you this?
Yes.
What did you see in this young man that made you want to say, okay, I'm going to invest some time and some energy into his movement and put a little push behind him? What drew you to him?
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question, but I'm trying to figure out, can you share this video with me on Facebook so our friends
You know what?
can
I just
watch
I
it?
just tried to I just tried to do that, and when I typed in your name, it wouldn't come up. So
Here,
I'm
Apostle Veryl Howard. It's there so many different ways. Um, I have 100 Facebook accounts, but send it to Apostle Veryl Howard because I want to be able to share what God is allowing us to share this evening. And that's what I was doing, was looking for the place to share.
okay.
Um, did you tag me? Did you tag a sister?
That's what I'm doing right now.
If you don't tag me, tag Michael. Michael knows how to put it on my page. Yes,
Okay.
but tag me. No, seriously, because that's what I was doing. I literally was trying to put this on before my battery goes out and let people know that we are on here with you live. But with respect to Michael, Michael has a type of drive, and there's this, you know, by me working with national recording artists, I could see talent a mile away. It doesn't matter what type of talent it is, whether it's dancing, writing scripts, writing a book, creating, being a filmmaker, videographer. You know, I can detect talent, but something else is bigger than the talent. You have to have the ability to stick it out, and you have to have aggressiveness, and you have to believe in whatever it is God has placed inside of you.
Mhm.
So Michael is one of those type. He doesn't believe in a closed door. If one door closes, he's going to go through another. And he doesn't believe in no. He's very aggressive. He believes that God told him he can do it. He's going to do it. And so you have to have that type of disposition to make it in this industry. And a lot of people don't make it because they lack that. And he
Mhm.
doesn't give up. I don't care, even if he gets discouraged, he just keeps on plugging. And he's very creative. He's always thinking of something constantly. His brain is always just coming up with new ideas, new creations, new this. I don't know how he's carrying all of that up here. And I thought about it this morning. I don't mean to over talk about it. I thought about Michael this morning because a lot of things be going through my head like that too, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
And I mean, a lot of times, and I can't even share it with people because there's so much going on, things that God be telling me, just be dropping on me. And
Yeah.
so I thought about it. I said, oh my God. I said this about Michael, God. I said, Michael's like this. Creative
Mhm.
people are like that. So creative people begot creative people. Creative people
Mhm.
understand creative people. We get each
Mhm.
other. We
Yes.
can be a little weird, strange, or whatever, because our minds are constantly ticking. I get
Mhm.
Michael. But then you got to make sure it's the right creative connected with the right creative.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Because just because they creative don't mean you should be connected because Michael and I are believers. So I
Mhm.
don't connect with everybody. So
Mhm.
Right.
I had to make sure that this was the right creative I was supposed to be connected with because I knew once I started pouring and pouring and pushing, I'm going to push him
Mhm.
because it's a divine connection.
Amen.
And so that's how this all came to be. And I
Mm.
finally got my tag.
Awesome. Awesome.
Send it to
Awesome.
me so I can share it also.
Okay, I will. I'm gonna thank you.
Oh.
Awesome. So, so with everything going on in the climate right now, as far as as far as cinema is concerned, as far as movies and especially content, um, you're kind of in some rare air at this present moment because there aren't many like you, or rather, there aren't many that are being promoted out there as
Mm.
well as you are
Mhm.
presently.
Mhm.
Do you feel an extra sense of responsibility as a faith-based film producer? Do you feel like an added responsibility being a faith-based film producer as opposed to just a film producer? Like, and if you do, like, how do you manage that? How do you deal with that on a daily basis?
Yeah, so the responsibility is to one, not be like, not have cheesy content. And because the whole goal is to win souls, so you gotta relate to those that are not in the church or might not know too much about the Bible, but you still gotta make it raw and real enough for them to be like, wow, that was a good movie, and it wasn't preachy, but then you realize, oh, that was a faith base, because of
Right.
that message of love. So that's the responsibility on not being cheesy, and then also just making sure that um I stay in the word so that way, I have a message to deliver.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, Dr. Howard, when you first were able to, now we bypassed the meeting, so now you're seeing the content, like you're seeing his creativeness on paper, so to speak. What were your first thoughts when you saw the first actual work that he did? What were your initial thoughts on that?
I'll be honest with you. It was the good fight of faith.
You mean the
No,
wages of sin?
wait,
The
I mean the
wages of
wages of sin.
sin.
Yeah,
She's
it was.
she's
I'm
she's giving off
sorry.
some new stuff, new
Oh
material.
Lord, I apologize. It was the wages of sin,
Mm,
and I'm a pastor. Okay, and it was about a sinful dude who was a pastor.
Mhm.
So he gave some reality that I could relate to, not because I was living that type of lifestyle, but because I had seen it. And
Mm,
so it was an awakening also to those that watched. So the storyline, it went into some stuff that folk don't really want to expose, but it's happening. And so that made it the relatability of it as well as the designs. Michael is a set designer. He built the jail and the different scenes you see in there. He did that. Those type of things impressed me, that he was able to create scenes that didn't exist, that he was able to put reality on the screen where it didn't look like a $2 budget. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that was inspirational with respect to his work.
Mm,
Awesome.
mm.
So tell me this, being at such a young age, because I'm assuming that you're super young.
I'm younger than he is.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
okay,
older than Apostle Veryl.
okay, got you,
Mhm.
got you. Okay, well, being at the age that you are, um, is that a challenge for you in the sense of the fact that some might look at you and say he's too young to have experienced any of this stuff that he's creating, or how does somebody so young continue to come up with content that is so timely and relevant for not just his demographic but for others? You know what I mean? How do you is that something that you contend with on a daily?
So as far as my age, it's definitely a like a hook, you know, get people like,
Hmm.
oh wow, 24 years old and he's doing this. And on the flip inside though, you know, that's threatening to people older than me, much older than me that are doing it, you know,
Hmm.
the same thing and on a greater level. So it really my age does really prove God's goodness, you know, and and him God greenlighting me and not, you know, man, but just putting my trust in God because I'm so young. You can't explain it like, oh, I've done this for X amount of years and I've networked here and there, but it's something that's unexplainable because and the Lord uses my age as a tool to show that no matter how young or no matter how old, it doesn't matter what your age is. You know,
Right.
as long as you have the vision from the Lord, just move on it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Dr. Howard, being an actress yourself, um, what advantage did or what advantage slash vantage point did it does it give you in being able to um guide Mike in his journey? What being in the industry, being on both sides of the camera, what has that give how has that empowered you to be able to guide him in an effective way?
To be honest with you, I don't have a lot of this white hair just to have it.
Mhm.
Mm,
I really believe God has supernaturally bestowed some type of wisdom on me. And
mhm,
so, with respect to Michael and any of my clients, I really try to tap into prophetically and what God is speaking so that I can direct them. Because when you're dealing with creatives whose minds are going all the time, it's just like my artists. They do a song every day, and they might want to put this song out, but that's not the song God is saying needs to come out at that moment, or that might not be the month that song needs to come out. So I have to ask God for wisdom as to how to speak what I hear God telling me to speak to Michael with respect to his ministry. His career is a ministry. So I think a lot of that comes into play. And then also trial and errors. I'm not new to the game. So things I did do correctly or didn't do correctly, or opportunities I did not take advantage of. And I just thank God that they circled back around, if you know what I mean. So, to be able to maximize those opportunities and understand that you're doing it for the kingdom of God and keeping that as a focus. Those are some of the things that I try to tell Michael to do.
Mhm.
Because I look at him like, I'm old enough to be Michael's mother.
Mhm.
And I know he has a mama who loves him dearly, but I guess I'm just like his TV film mama. And so it's just like a child that you may have, whether or not they are an adult. You don't want to see your child hurt. You don't want to see your child go down the wrong road. You don't want to see your child get a setback. You want to see your child excel. And so I want to see Michael excel. So I have to be very sensitive to what the Holy Spirit is telling me to tell him, because this is going to affect him, his wife, his family, for the rest of his life. And
Mhm.
words are powerful.
Yeah, yeah. You on mute, Mike.
Sorry about that.
No
That is a fact. This is a question that I usually ask artists. Um, is it a challenge for you? And this question is for you, Mike. Um, is it a challenge for you to chase a sound? Not, or should I say, not to chase a sound? And what I mean by that is, in the context of me, when I'm asking artists, right? Like you might have an artist who has a certain style or a certain way they deliver their project, and
Mm-hmm.
they might have a certain level of success, but they look over and they see artist X doing something totally different, and they are seemingly having more success with what they're doing. And sometimes the temptation is to say, okay, this person seems to be going a little further than me. Um, Maybe I should try to use those drums or try to use those type of instruments or those backup singers or whatever. Is that is that the same when you're creative in this way? Like, is it ever a challenge for you to say to look at somebody else's project and say, oh man, like maybe I should do more, have more guns, for instance, have more guns in my movies, or maybe I should have more women in my movies because it seems like this person over here is having more success, and that's the formula that they're using. Is that what is that or has that ever been a challenge for you?
I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but it's definitely a something that is brought into my reality because
Mhm.
I make the faith-based films. People making films with porn in it is making them a ton of money, a
Right,
ton of money.
right.
But I really don't care. So, I'm not going to step into that lane to go ahead and just make a ton of money.
Mhm.
Because again, it's about making that impact. But yeah, like I said, people put degrading stuff in their films, make a ton of money,
Mhm.
but I'm not going to do that. So it's presented, but I wouldn't call it a challenge because I just don't care.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Um, when you say faith-based filmmaker.
Hmm.
Some might feel like that's a limitation.
Hmm.
What do you say to those people who say, Mike, man, you shouldn't title yourself, you shouldn't put that label on yourself. You're just be a filmmaker. Why be a faith? Why limit yourself by being a faith-based filmmaker? What do you say to those people who might feel that way?
I say they limit themselves by not being a faith-based filmmaker because, I mean, not having that title as Christian filmmaker, okay, you can make anything you want. But now, like for instance, I have a Christian superhero movie out. So it's like I have to be creative with how I deliver the word of God. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So
Hmm.
I would say, they're putting themselves in a box by not using their gift for the one who gave it to them.
Right.
Because in him is limitless. It's no limits. It's an abundance of ideas and stuff. But on the other side, you'll start to see a lot of the same stuff. And like you said, chasing that sound or chasing that, you know, to try
Mhm.
to do what everyone else is doing.
Mhm.
But you
Absolutely.
stand out by by being using your talents for Christ. You stand out.
What has the response been for you creatively in the business of it, of it all? What has the response been like to those who quote unquote make the decisions and says what's a go and what's not? Like what's that response been like?
Yeah, so I mean, perfect timing because of the fact that um so many networks now are looking for faith-based content. And more so than ever now. And I just so happen to be a faith-based filmmaker. So I
Mhm.
say, I mean, it's perfect timing. Like, I get positive, you know, feedback, and especially because of how, creative it is. It's not, like I said, it's not the typical type of Christian films.
So, okay, so you've alluded to that fact quite a bit. So, tell me what makes a Michael Chin film different from a Susie Banana film?
Mm,
Yeah, I'm just making up a name because I
yeah,
don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, it's just because I'm different. We're all different. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you stay true to your originality and not try to be like somebody else, because the person you're trying to be like, that's original to them.
Hmm.
So we all different. We all original, but I don't try to be like somebody else. So I just embrace my originality.
Dr.
Amen.
Howard, Dr. Howard,
Yes. I'm sharing with our friends.
and
I'm,
I appreciate
I'm the marketer.
that. I you've been in this business for a while now, and you've seen, I know you've seen a lot of things up close. Um, what are your feelings as far as the business of cinema and filmmaking? Is it Has there been a big change since you first got into it versus now? And if there has been, like, what would you say is the biggest change that in the with when you with respect to the business of making films? What has been the
Hmm.
biggest difference from the time you started to now?
The number of things. I was just sharing with somebody how we used to shoot 35 millimeter and 16 millimeter, and that game has changed. The cameras have changed.
Yeah,
People shooting stuff on their expensive cell phones these days.
right.
The budgets have changed, where it was very hard for a person to get a film done if you wanted to be seen on a global platform unless you had a mill, you had some big or 2 mil or 50 mil or 10 mil.
Mhm.
You didn't have the opportunities to spread your work like we do now with Hulu, Bounce, Tubi, and these different platforms that have opened up. So your budgets are different now. You can bring it down and shoot a phenomenal film for almost less than a third of what it used to take to shoot a film. So
Mhm.
the business of it has changed drastically, and the opportunities for people to make money in this industry has changed drastically because someone who is an independent filmmaker can now, get 200K and go ahead and shoot a film. And as long as they have some promotion and marketing behind it, hey, the sky's the limit as to what can be done with that particular film. So that game has really, really changed. Also, sadly, I don't think it's caught up as of yet. The pay with the actors needs to still change. We've been listening and watching what's going on with respect to actors being underpaid. And I'm talking about mainly our African American actors who have done phenomenal work, and we see them on the big screen, but they're barely making any money.
Right.
So there are more opportunities. Whereas if you look at the history of film, go way on back to the 40s, there wasn't as many opportunities, except back then you had to be a maid or a butler or something like that. So there are more opportunities from a physicality perspective, but from a financial perspective, it seems like there's a stupor. And it seems like the financial aspect has not caught up with the talent that is rendered, or with the versatility and the history and the veteran status of the talent you hire. So those
Wow.
are some of the changes that need to happen. Then we're going to talk about business. The marketing of it has changed, with respect to cyberspace, how certain platforms have opened up that were not available at that particular time are there now. So you have more platforms where you can get your stuff out. Amazon Prime wasn't there like that. We remember when Netflix started out. That changed the game with
Right.
streaming. So
Right.
streaming has opened up another business avenue of finances that were not available back
Yeah.
in the day, or maybe 20 years ago, or however long it was. And I mean, really not even that long. Those opportunities were not there. That's an extra source of income with
Mhm.
respect to the film producer, the director, the actors, depending upon how the contracts are done. Then,
Mhm.
if we're going to go into the business again, synchronization opportunities have changed. I
Mhm.
believe now there's more opportunities for artists to get paid, because why? There are more film producers out here. There are more people that have now taken advantage of these platforms like Tubi and the places I mentioned earlier, the Amazon Primes or the Hulus or Voodoo TV, VUDU, not the VOODOO, because I don't promote voodoo. But because those opportunities are here now, somebody who's been aspiring to get their music on the big screen and thought it could never happen because they couldn't get to Disney. Hello, somebody. Or
Mhm.
they may not have been able to get to Lionsgate. Come on now, I'm preaching to the choir. But now you have people like Michael who have films that need music to transition scenes. So it opens up the platform from a business perspective of that aspiring artist that wants to get heard out there. So the dynamics of the film industry is constantly revolving, constantly changing. Let's go into the business of tax credits. I'm gonna shut up in a minute because they need to book me and Michael to do workshops. We
Mhm.
don't just give all this out for free, okay? So if you didn't
Yes,
listen
ma'am.
to it, shame on you. Hello. But even now, you know, back in the day, it wasn't as many places that had tax incentives. I'm not going to tell you all of them because you need to call us to get that info. But there are places now that have tax incentives to lure film directors to come into their state or their city to shoot, because there's a percentage they're going to give them back.
Right.
Wow.
Huh. That changes things. So that says, okay, to the director or EP, I might want to shoot here
Mhm.
because I'm going to get more for my money.
Mhm.
And that is something huge that has shifted, and a lot of states are opening up to that because
Mhm.
they realize they're missing that revenue. A, of people coming into the city, B, of providing more jobs for the people in the city, and C, making their place be a user friendly place for
Mhm.
television and film. So I just gave you a few things that have changed with the dynamics of the film and television industry.
Mhm.
That is awesome. And I think what's so dope in the last, few years is that you realize that for a long time you come up, especially with like music and stuff like that, you have an artist who creates music with the hopes of getting a record deal. So they go to all these different record companies. Hey, I'm such and such. I do this, I do that. Can you sign me? Please sign me. I want to, what I'm saying? And nowadays it's the playing field is kind of even. And so,
It is.
Michael is a living example of being able to create your own opportunities. And I think that's a very, very, very dope thing. Like to
Mhm.
a point where in a minute you'll be doing these things on the Michael Chin network as opposed to the
See it?
season.
See?
What I'm saying? That's super
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mhm.
amazing. That is super amazing. Um is there a dream project? Is there a project that you aspire to create, a story that you aspire to tell that you haven't told yet?
Mhm. Yeah. I
He
have a
got plenty.
yeah, plenty, plenty. I really have a Christian sci-fi. Oh my
Okay,
God, it's gonna mess people's minds up, but it's gonna be biblical. It's gonna, you know what I'm saying? But
okay.
I plan on doing that on a nice budget. So yeah,
I know that's right.
but like Apostle Vero said, plenty.
I know that's right. Okay. So I saw, I was reading your bio and your information sheet, and you were saying that you and your wife created a literary project, and I was joking with you offline about your youthful appearance. I was like, how you got a wife? You like 16? You look like you're about 16. Tell me tell me about that project and what it was like working with family.
Yeah, yeah. So that project is called Almost Not Born. Again, it's available on Amazon.com. And it talks about the warfare of the mind and how Satan doesn't have power over you. He just can suggest things and get you to use the power that works within you to disrupt your reality. But the flip also works. When you believe God's word, then you see your reality positively and godly shifted for the kingdom. So it talks about, you know, healing trauma, winning the
Mhm.
warfare of the mind, how Satan, uh, the main character's name is Destiny, and just like her name, she had a big destiny um, that Satan did not want her to fulfill. So the book Almost Not Born, she was almost not born,
Mm.
and yeah, so talks about healing trauma and all that, and so again, that's available on Amazon. So definitely go purchase a book.
So what was that like doing it with your wife? I know that, you know, from a worldly standpoint, you know, we go to work and we have coworkers and that we build with and we create with, and that
Hmm.
and when 4 o'clock comes or 6 o'clock comes, whatever time you get off, you go home, they go home, and then you don't see them until tomorrow.
Hmm.
But you're in a situation where you're creating and you're working, but you're also living together, eating together, you know, being so what is that process like? Is there ever a point where you say, okay, you go over there and I'm gonna go over here and we go, you know, what was that like?
Yeah, so definitely bouncing ideas off each other, but she did majority of the writing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Okay.
She did majority of it, so she just let her mind go, and
Mhm.
then she would send me different, and I would go ahead and I would read it, and then I would add different things in different chapters and stuff. But like I said, she did majority of that, so yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I was talking with Angel from Trinity 5-7, and
Oh,
she was saying how, you know, as an independent artist now,
Mm,
she, you know, she's creating her own, you know, she's creating her own music
hmm.
and doing her own thing, being creatively with people that are around her that, you know, that are close to her that truly want her to win. Not saying that it wasn't like that before, but I'm saying you're working with close knit with family now, and I was led to ask her what is it like to be able to create in peace
Mm,
to the point where nobody you don't have you don't have a group of people over here with an agenda attached to your vision to say, okay, I want you to make these type of songs, you know, for this type of time, da da da. But now you have the opportunity to create at your own time, on your own time, the way you want to do it and release it however you want to do it. So, like, I'm gonna ask you the same thing. What, you know, you don't have a bunch of studio CEOs and executives on your neck saying do this and do that. You got to have this actor and that actress, and now you need to have this content and that content. And what is it like to be able to create in peace?
stressful.
Really, really.
It's all on you. So I mean, one of the goals is to get to that point where you got the networks handling
Okay,
everything.
okay.
But
That's
also,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. But that's bigger pieces of the pie. But it's cool to be able to also, you know, like you say, create in peace and just. But I mean, it is stressful because now you got to figure out how you're going to get it done with all this stuff. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I would say stressful.
That's interesting. That's definitely interesting. I mean, I guess there's a certain level of pressure when you're on your own too, because you can have a tendency to get comfortable and complacent too. Like,
Yeah.
I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll do it in a minute. You know, I'm gonna go over here and do this for now. That's interesting. Um, at its height, if you could snap your fingers and it be this way tomorrow, what would Michael Chin Films be at its peak? What would you see it being at its peak?
Um, Definitely a whole Christian superhero universe,
Mm,
like how Marvel does theirs.
right.
Still doing my Christian dramas and Christian every genre. So I got a Christian horror getting ready that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? So like just Christian every
Wow.
drama. But
Oh, wow.
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's as creative as possible with no money issues like, oh, how am I gonna pay for this, or how, what I'm saying, just to be as creative as possible, because you built that catalog to where I can just go in there and be like, all right, this is the next thing. Okay. Because it's been proven, so everything that I've done has been proven. That's
Mhm.
what that looks like at the height for me as of
Awesome.
right now.
Awesome. Dr. Howard, being
Yes.
being the hands and feet, so to speak, of these creatives and these artists. Um, in essence, you're vouching for everything that they do creatively. You go to whomever and you say, you need to talk to this guy, you need to work with this guy, Michael Chin, because he does XYZ. You need to work with this artist because he or she does XYZ. And in essence, you're vouching, like I said, you're vouching for their talents, you're vouching for their vision, you're vouching for their ability to create in certain spaces. Um, what does is that pressure for you?
It
Even though
is.
you may not be
It
writing
is. I could stop you right there.
something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because just because you see something on somebody doesn't mean that everybody else sees it on them as
Right,
well.
right.
So it's a convincing process to say, you know what? This person's creative. This person, you better watch out for them. I'm telling you, about a year from now, they're gonna be X, Y, and Z. And Michael, I'm telling you, every artist I have worked with, or every client that I saw something in, I will tell people, watch. And I'm telling you, God has not failed me yet. I have seen
Mm,
them all go to such heights and depths. And I saw it in them when they weren't getting phone calls, when they weren't getting booking calls, when people weren't believing in their project. And I saw them stick it out through the tough, the good, the bad, the in between. And then all of a sudden, I say a combustion happens where everything just all lines up. You know what I mean? And then
right.
there becomes a demand for what they have inside of them. So it is not an easy process. That's why I'm so selective about who I work with, because it is a selling process, a convincing process. And you have to believe in their ministry and what God has entrusted them to do as well. I can't work with nobody I don't even believe about myself, because I tried that. I tried that. I
Mhm.
tried to work with people who had the propensity to make me a whole lot of money. I'm just going to be straight up, okay?
Right. Mhm.
But it was more of a headache, and I felt like God wasn't in it, and it was confusing. All of that. And the Lord said, "Okay, well, you worked with that person because you're gonna make a whole bunch of money." I mean, there's a lot of people who want to work with me. And the Lord was like, I didn't tell you to work with that person.
Right.
So I can't convince nobody if God didn't tell me to convince people. God will send somebody before you to talk about your work so you don't have to boast on yourself. He'll do
Mhm.
that. He'll
Mhm.
have people that testify. I mean, think about Jesus. When Jesus went and healed people, they would say, the man healed me. I was healed. My hand was shriveled up, but it's no longer shriveled. So people will talk about your good works and how God is using you, and there'll be a voice for you. And I think that's what I am for my clients.
So with that being said, um, generally, how hands on are you with the artist because of the pressure that you just described? How hands on are you? Um, are you in the studios? Are you on the sets? Are you, how much input do you allow yourself to have within these projects?
I can be any of those places. And I have been
Hmm.
in any of those atmospheres. And Michael tell you, I'm very vocal and play a role in helping with the decision making process. Because I look at it a little deeper than it's just their project. Michael and I are both believers.
Mhm.
So, what is God saying about all of this? Because He's going to bring about the success. And I got to always stay tuned in to hear the voice of the Lord. And to be honest with you, Mike, I get upset and irritated if I can't hear God for my clients. I
Okay.
do. Because
Okay.
I don't want to be like, I even went as far. I used to work with the Winans, Angie and Debbie Winans. I was actually on tour with the younger sisters, and I worked with Cece. And I decided I wasn't going out one weekend. And he said, "Why are you not going out with us?" I said, "Because I'm not prayed up. I'm not fasted up. I haven't been talking to God. And I'm not going to come out here with you all and pollute your ministry. So,
Wow.
regardless of me getting paid, I'm just going to keep myself at home." And they were like, "What, V?" Because they would call me V. I said, "Yeah, because I haven't heard from God to go with you."
Mm. Okay.
So that's how I am with all my clients, whether they're singing, whether they're acting, whether they're film person, radio person, record person. If God doesn't tell me what to say, how to say it, when to say it, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to do it.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that has to be kind of tricky in the sense of, like you said, you're vouching for them. However, you don't want to squelch whatever momentum they might have creatively as well. So that can definitely be seems like it could be a big challenge for
And
you as
I
well.
don't want to be responsible for it not coming to pass either, or I don't want to be responsible for something because something I tell somebody and then it doesn't go right.
Right.
That's too much weight on me because I've been there where I've given my advice and for whatever reason, it didn't quite pan out the way the artist or the client thought it should be because there was some demonic factors that came in that needed to be rebuked and everything else and prayed against. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, it was too much weight on me because it was like I took the blame for giving that advice.
Mm.
And
Okay.
I don't want to be in that position ever.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry I'm so dramatic. Michael, it's just in my bones. I can't help it. I've been like this all my
No,
life.
no, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's just hilarious. It's fine though. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mike. Is there a dream role that you have that you hope to maybe play one day? Is there?
Yeah, buddy. Yes, sir, buddy.
Okay.
I got a couple of them.
Okay.
One director saw me when we shot Double Cross of LA, and he was like, "Apostle, I'm writing a boss lady role for you, like a head, boss lady." I called him. I said, "Dude, what, huh?" Then another one said that to me too, and I'm like, "Okay, well, when y'all gonna get to scribing?" I want a boss role. This chick is bad. She's a lead character, but she's safe. I don't know what the storyline has to be, the scenario, whatever, but I want some type of role like that. But she has integrity. And she's not a boss because she did some things. She's a boss because she did some things the right way. You feel me? Even though she had some challenges that put her in some compromising type of positions where she
Hmm.
could have sold out. There's a lot of folks that sell out for success in this industry, but
Hmm.
she didn't sell out. So I want some type of role like that. Then I know I got white hair and everybody assumes because I got white hair, I gotta be 100 years old. No, 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 no. I want me a cute, sexy role. Michael doesn't even know this. Christian people can be cute and sexy too. I want me a cute, sexy role where I'm somebody's wife up in that joint. And it's got
Mhm.
something to do with something with me helping my man through some situations or whatever, his
Mhm.
trials that he's going through. I want to depict how the woman of God, even though I wanted to go on mainstream, but how her woman helped her man. Because I
Mhm.
think we've lost the dynamics of a relationship in this day and age. We really have. And so that foundation of that needs to come back. People not even getting married anymore. No type of commitment, no type of loyalty, no type of none of that. Women don't even know they women. They don't even know how to be a woman. They don't know how to be a wife. They don't know how, so I want a role that shows a powerful woman, but yet she's able to assist whatever that journey is and that trial that the man is going through. There's two roles I want.
And we're gonna call it the help meet.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
See, there you go. There you go.
there it
You
is.
you brought up a good point, Dr. Howard. We can segue right into that. And this is another question that I usually reserve for music artists, particularly females, but I'm going to talk to you guys about it too. Imaging
Mm,
in the realm of faith-based film. You have women, particularly women of color, usually. They're shaped a certain way. They have the curves, and they are, they are how they are. So they can't necessarily help how they're shaped. Everything that they wear usually accentuates whatever it is that they're blessed with. However, sometimes they're scrutinized for the things that they just simply cannot help. And I use like the Erica Campbell picture with the white dress. Now she didn't show anything. However, the dress was form fitting, and she's very shapely, and so she received a lot of flack for that. So like, to kind of bring it all back, put it in a bow. When you're creating these films and these characters and things like that, are you mindful of the imaging? How mindful are you of the imaging? Are you how mindful are you of the imaging? If I said that right, are we, you know, is that something that stays on the forefront of your mind? Like, can a woman wear a mini skirt in a faith-based film? Can a woman wear a plunging neckline in a faith-filled film, faith-based film? What's the thinking with that?
I mean, I'm not a woman, so I'm not gonna answer that. Nah, I would
Well,
just say, I would just say, from the filmmaker's perspective, it's all about that person's intent. So if they have a bad intent, now we just seen a documentary come out about somebody who was had bad intent, who had certain attractions, and that
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
documentary is out now. But you can
yeah.
tell by that, if the intent, you can't fake energy, you can't fake intent, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if their intent is pure, it's gonna come across pure. But if
Mhm.
the person got something back in their mind, go ahead, back to you, Apostle.
Oh, so you're giving that to me.
Yeah, because you're a lady,
Well,
so I can't really answer the way that you.
Well, from a male perspective, I mean, because you're seeing this, and you're a married man too.
Mhm.
So you're seeing this. So like, what's your perspective as a married, as, and not even just as a married man, but just as a man general doing faith based
Mhm.
content? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? How
yeah.
how aware are you of the outfits,
Mhm.
of how a woman is coming across?
Mhm.
Are you looking like, okay, this particular lady is, she's shapely and she's curvy, and oh man, at certain angles that I probably shouldn't do
No,
because whatever.
I'm not
You
thinking
know what I'm
like
saying?
that.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
said no, I'm not thinking like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Okay, Dr. Howard. What are your viewpoints on that?
well, I was getting ready to say, I was in a non-faith based series,
Hmm.
which has a lot of provocative scenes, folk with stuff showing, not showing. It was non-faith based. The believers, the people who wrote it, are faith based.
Hmm.
But with respect to my attire, I call my attire sexy but classy, not revealing anything, and polished. And they were very sensitive to my attire. So I'm not gonna go in there looking like a gump just because I love God and I'm a, you know, not gonna have on the dress all the way to my ankles,
Right,
because I
right,
found out when I got saved, people could have dresses on all the way to their ankles and they could still be doing all types of sinning. And
right,
I found out it's not in the clothes all the time. But
right,
still, like Michael said, people dress a certain way to try to provoke certain things as
right,
well. So I try not to dress to provoke. A woman knows if she's, wants a man to look at her booty, so she wears some tight clothes, or a woman,
right.
you know what I'm saying? Women know, they're not crazy. They know when their stuff is hanging out and everything else. So still be cute and sexy, but be classy about it, not provoking. Because a woman can have on a sweatsuit and have a bomb figure, and a man could still be like,
Right,
she got a fat figure.
right,
I'm just saying. So, but like Michael said, the intent behind it, the spirit behind it, the
mhm,
energy behind it, all of that you can tell.
Hmm.
yeah. Now, and this is gonna be sound like a funny question, but there's a word that you keep repeating. Sexy. Is that a bad word in this? Can you say that in faith based? Can you say that word? Is that a
I just said it. I just said it. There's times where a faith-based woman want to be sexy for her man. What?
Yeah,
Michael
okay?
has a very pretty wife.
Hmm.
And I'm sure he finds her sexy and he
Hmm.
finds her attractive. And she's all of what he wants.
Hmm.
So I think that we as women, we can have the spirit of the living God inside of us, but we can still have, some sex appeal. Don't just go really just start. I see women, they start letting themselves go because they say, when I
Right.
first got saved, I thought I had to shift gears because I dressed kind of else. So when I was trying to figure out who I was in this whole thing, I shift my whole dynamics of my clothes.
Got you.
But it wasn't me. It wasn't me. And so I had to figure out the balance as to who God made me to be without being overly judgmental on me, and still at the same time not trying to provoke nobody to go into no lust phase or this, that, and the other. But I still wanted to look pretty. I still wanted to, you know what I'm saying? I still wanted to look like somebody would be attracted to me. I
Right.
just didn't want to dumb me down and not take care of myself. And I think we have a tendency to do that. So in a faith-based film, I think Michael should have women in there in nice suits doing whatever they do, nice pants, or looking attractive, hair done, makeup laid, looking ladylike. We don't have to be as if we still a slave.
Okay. So how do you feel about love scenes then?
Okay, now we love scenes now. I just told you I wanted to be somebody's wife in a scene. Michael heard me
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
But you're
So
not gonna find me up in no bed with all my goods showing. Now, I'm not gonna do that because
right.
a
Right.
director who's a
Right.
good director knows how to still bring that reality to the stage
Mhm.
without all your stuff showing.
Right.
You feel me? He knows how to do it without making it like you looking at a porn movie.
Right.
And you could still get there are little things the director could do. He could barely slip off that blanket falling down a little bit, but you don't
Mhm.
see nothing but the arm out of the blanket.
Right.
And we know what that means. We know what they're about to do,
Right.
but there doesn't have to be an X-rated scenario,
Right.
but you still get
But
your point across.
but you are open. But what I hear you saying is that you are open to the love scene within a
With some
faith.
class. It
Right.
has boundaries, it has class, and I'm
Right.
not kissing everybody.
Right.
Because I
Right.
believe in soul ties. Everybody
Got
can't be, exchanging, you know what I'm saying, no spit with me. That's not happening. So those are the
you.
things that an actress or actor, when they get to a certain point or whatever, they have to have limitations, because how you present yourself on that screen, it's out on cyberspace, doc. It's out there. You can't take it back. I mean, I think about Halle Berry Monster Ball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right name of it, Michael? Because I don't be researching
Yeah,
stuff like you.
it's Monsters
But
Ball. Yeah.
I think about that movie, and she has grown so much more further than that. But that was what she was willing to do. Then you have to have limitations as to what you're willing to do, because you're gonna get tried, you're gonna get asked, people are gonna expect you to do certain things to go to certain levels, especially if you want to go beyond faith-based but still be faith-based. Because God is sending us out into this world too now.
Right.
So you still better have some type of boundaries and say, I'm not gonna do X, Y, and Z. You can get somebody else, and then you gotta trust that God will bring you another role.
Right. Right. That's amazing. That is amazing. We are here on Let's Take a Walk podcast, and I'm here with Mr. Michael Cleos Chin, and I'm here with the incomparable Apostle Dr. Veryl Howard, and we are discussing all things creative, all things cinema, all things faith-based, all things faith-based, all things faith. Um, and we've been here for an hour, and I still feel like yes, and I feel like we have just barely scratched the surface. I know that you have other responsibilities after this one, so I want to be respectful of your time. I just have one last question for the both of you. It's a question that I ask all my guests, and I just want you to take a moment and think about it and give me the most honest and transparent answer that you can give me. The
Well, Michael,
question.
I don't want us to get off of here without talking about this huge event we have. That's priority.
Okay,
We have
let's do it.
coming
Let's
up
do it.
this week. By all means, I know we've been on here an hour, but we haven't brought that up at all.
Okay, let's
So
do
it's
it.
my responsibility to make sure we bring that to the forefront. But this Friday and Saturday, Michael and I have teamed up, and we're hosting a prayer vigil for film producers, actors, script writers, people who are in the film industry. Because let's think about it. They had a strike and people weren't getting paid. Prior to that, it was COVID and folks weren't getting checks. The film industry was shut down. You have veteran actors who didn't know how they were going to pay them big Malibu house mortgages. You feel me?
Right.
So we need to take the prayer to them. Some of them may not be in churches, or they may work so much or whatever, they don't have an opportunity because they're gone 2-3 months at a time shooting a film. So there is a need for us to do this. So we have a prayer vigil that is coming up this Friday. We're going to have film producers who are going to be discussing their journey, how they got from point A to point B. What are the trials? What are the situations? How did they hang in there? And Michael just gave you a glimpse as to how he has hung in there. He didn't go into all the trying times or the doors that looked like they weren't going to open up or whatever.
Mhm.
But they're going to talk about that this Friday, and we're going to pray for them. And then Saturday, we have panel discussions going on in the morning. Doors open at 9 o'clock. And after we do the panel discussions and the Q&As, Michael, the crew, the casting directors, the film directors, they're going to audition these people and open up opportunities for them to be able to act, whatever they want to do, dance, act, the whole 9 yards. Um, in the industry, because a lot of people have been asking us, when is your next audition? When are you doing this? When are you doing that? Well, this is their opportunity to come and have these great people look at their talents. So that's going on this Friday and this Saturday at WBGR Studios, 8401 Corporate Drive, Hyattsville, Maryland. Meet us there. Doors open at 6 a.m., 6 p.m., 6 p.m. Friday night. Okay. Tag Michael, you it.
I mean, you said it all. Like, if you want to level up in this entertainment industry as an actor, filmmaker, dancer, singer, whatever the mountain of entertainment, you definitely want to be at this event this Friday and this Saturday. So yeah, and you said it all. So
Is there a specific demographic or a specific group of people that you are kind of like shooting for, or is there specific roles that are being auditioned for?
yeah, we're gonna have
That's a good
sides.
answer, that one.
Yeah, we're gonna have sides. On the casting call, we put black and Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian. So all types of people. The kingdom of God is, you know all races, all everybody that
That's
just
a
loves
fact.
the
That's
Lord.
a
So
fact. That is a fact.
And it's
Um,
not limited, Mike Robinson, because I'm dealing with two Mikes. I end up sending you Michael's interview information for later on. The other thing is when you have these creative people in front of you, like Michael, and these other casting directors and these film people, they may see something in somebody that comes in there. It may not even be a script developed yet. You
hmm
know,
mm,
they could see something special on somebody and say, you know what? I want to use them in the future. They may not fit this particular project. I might want to develop something, or I could see them playing this or whatever. So you don't ever limit it. You
mhm,
know, a lady called me today. She's 70 some years old. She said, well, I used to act in plays. I said, but you need to come on and come there. You need to come audition because you don't know if it's going to be a scene where they need a grandmama, a
right.
great grandmama, or whatever it may be. Don't count yourself out before you even get started.
right.
So, with a creative mind like that, I already told you, they're always thinking.
Hmm.
So, you don't know what you can jar in their mind just by showing up with your purple hair.
Right. Right. um, Man, I listen. I have so many questions, but again, I want to be respectful to your time, and hopefully, I can get the two of you back on here again in the near future. Um, I just want to. I'm so tempted to ask one more question. Um, this is just, but I'm gonna resist. My final question is, like I said, a question that I ask all my guests, and I just want you to take a moment and think about it, and just give me the most honest and transparent answer that you can give me. And here's the question, and the question's for both of you. What would have to happen in your life if it hasn't happened already for you to consider your life a success? What does success look like for you specifically?
What has to happen? Oh, Michael has it. He has his answer.
I pointed at you.
Oh,
I
you were pointing at me.
pointed at you to go first.
Well,
That's
I
a deep
believe
question.
that I'm way older than Michael, and I feel at different junctures in my life, God has given me new goals. He's given me goals for the future. And um once I have accomplished those goals, I feel I'm successful at that particular level. And then
Mhm.
there's other new goals. I know for me, there's some more books that I need to get out. I've been stagnant with my books. That's another whole story in itself, as to why I was stagnant with my books. There are actually some movie bellies that are in my belly that are sitting in storage. That's another whole story in itself. Then seeing the projects that I'm presently working on or the clients that I'm working with, seeing them take their stuff from, where I hear them telling me is a dream to where they want to go. Then that means that I was successful in my role with helping them get from what was a dream to what is a reality. And then also I didn't have the children, but I definitely do. And I'm very honest about this. I don't hide it. I would like to be married. And I believe that's a part of my success story too, because like Michael told you, he and his wife wrote a book together, Iron Sharpens Iron. And there's things that his wife sees that he doesn't even see, and vice versa. And they are a unit and a support system one to another. I'm not going to say that that is going to say, okay, she's successful, but that's part of my success story
Okay.
is to work with my husband, who's the visionary, and helping him implement what God has placed him to do, and me being there, being pulled from his side. That would kind of complete my little success story with respect. And then my immediate ones is to lose 20 pounds.
Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. Okay. Um, I first off, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to come on this platform. I know you could be doing a billion other things, so I count it not a small thing, and I don't take it for granted. I appreciate you guys. Um, if somebody was watching this platform today, and something that was said or expressed sparked a thought or a vision or whatever, they maybe wanted to reach out to you and ask a question or find out some more audition information or whatever the case may be, how can they get in touch with you?
Michael can answer that.
So first and foremost, my social media is at I am Cleos. That's IAMKLEOS. Facebook and YouTube is Michael Cleos Chin. uh, Available for bookings and workshops, and get your film to the next level. Youth conferences, whatever the case may be. You can call my wonderful manager, Apostle Veryl, at 910-644-1824. Again, that's 910-644-1824. um so that's my social media. And then just to reiterate again, I have 3 movies out on Tubi. Christian drama, The Wages of Sin. That log line is: a respected pastor betrays his family, congregation, and community when temptation leads him to commit an unthinkable sin that lands him in prison. That currently has over 2 million views. A Mother's Daughter. The logline is: a naive young lady finds herself in a world of trouble when falling for the wrong guy turns her life into complete and utter chaos. That's A Mother's Daughter, and that has over 5 million views on Tubi. And then Christian superhero movie, The Keys of the Kingdom. As Satan plots to destroy the world, an archangel arrives to awaken an army of souls in hopes of defeating the demon once and for all. That's The Keys of the Kingdom, Christian superhero. All 3 of those movies are free to stream on Tubi. Again, book Almost Not Born on Amazon. I mean, if you like those movies, you can also go to Amazon.com and purchase the DVD version. Contact us, contact my manager, and then come to the event, this Friday and Saturday. So
Amazing. You guys are an amazing team. I can see that. I can see that. Again, I want to thank you guys for coming on the platform and being so honest and transparent with me. I truly appreciate you. And again, I take it not a small thing that you came on. I wish you guys much blessings and all the projects that you have coming up, and even the things that you haven't even conjured in your mind yet. Um, I often encourage the people that watch this platform to, if God is leading you to be or do a certain thing, if He's keeping you up at night, if you just feel like you can touch it, to step out on faith and do what God has called for you to do. My pastor, and I'm gonna be real quick, my pastor preached an awesome message on Sunday. He said, sometimes we have all the tools, but we don't get what we need until we show up at the war. So like he's talking about David and Goliath. David walked around with a slingshot and a staff, but he didn't have any rocks. It wasn't until he approached Goliath that he procured the rocks. And so sometimes so in a modern sense, we have the things, we got the talent, we got the ability to do the things, but because we may not have enough money, or we may not have a team, or we may not have whatever it takes to do whatever that thing is, sometimes you still have to show up anyway because your resources is there. You won't get your resource until you get to that point. And so I say that, to you guys, continue to show up. Continue to show up. And even though you may not feel like everything that you need is at your disposal at this present moment, when you get there, that resource is going to appear. The people are going to start pouring into you. The poor people are going to start giving you exactly what you need to complete the circle, whatever your circle is. So again, I truly appreciate you guys, and I consider this an open invitation to come on anytime that you want. If there's something that you want to promote, if there's something that you want to get out there, please feel free to use this as a medium on your press run to do whatever. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Michael's the one that's got to go. That's the celebrity. He has
Yeah,
another
you the
interview.
celebrity. You acting on the #1 show. You the celebrity apostle.
I mean, Dr. Howard, we can talk more if you want to. That's up to you.
Oh no, I gotta go too. I was just, but he
But
does really have another interview though. Thank you so much for
absolutely.
having us both.
No
Yes.
problem at all. Is there anything that you want to leave with the people before we sign off?
In all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men.
Absolutely.
Well, with me, I'm going to say be patient because that is so key. Do everything with prayer and supplication. Wait on the timing of God. Don't move out of the timing of God. And be at the right place you're supposed to be at the right time, because these opportunities that have come to me is because I was at the right place at the right time. So make sure your positioning is important, that it is important, because if Elisha wasn't there, he wouldn't have received a double portion of the anointing from Elisha.
Facts. Facts. All right. All right,
That's
Apostle.
funny. I never heard somebody say Elisha. I've heard them say
Elisha.
Elisha, or but that's I like that. I like that better because
Elisha.
it
So
it's
I
less.
could distinguish, so we could
Hmm.
definitely differentiate between
Yeah.
the two because they confuse the two.
Yeah.
And don't forget, folks, Friday and Saturday at
Yes.
WBGR Studio, film producers in the His House. Come meet Michael Cleos and all his friends, casting directors in the His House, script writers in the His House, and we auditioning Saturday. So look, doors open at 6:30. Be there. I can't leave without saying that. Thanks
6:30
again,
p.m.
Mike.
on Friday and 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay, I
Yep.
just wanted to clear that fire that for everyone. 6:30 p.m. on Friday, 9 a.m. on Saturday.
Yep.
Okay. Well, again, I thank you guys, and I wish you guys a great night. Have a great next interview, and continue to show up.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me.
Let's have a good
Bye
night.
bye. Good night.
God
Good night.
bless.
There you have it, guys. Another amazing interview with a couple of an amazing guests. I can't tell you how much I learned in this present, with this interview. You have, young people who are diligent, and they go forth in a way, and to see him, do it for God and do it with, faith-filled intent. That's amazing. And, we complain about a lot of the content that's out there that kind of impacts culture in a negative way. But when you have individuals like Michael Chen and others, you have to support them. You have to invest in them. You have to, check out their content in order to shift the balance, because the negative content is only there because it's desired. You know what I'm saying? There's the demand for it, but we have to create a new demand by lifting up, these younger filmmakers, or even not just younger, but these filmmakers that have a more positive and impactful content base. So I implore you to check out Michael Chen's movies on Tubi. Check out his books. Research Apostle Howard. She is a personality in and of herself. She's an artist manager. She works with some of your favorite gospel artists. Not and an actress in her own right. She has her own challenges as representation to some of these creators. There's a lot of weight on her. She carries a heavy mantle as well. But as always, man, I thank you guys for coming out first off, and I wish you much blessings going forward. But also, I want to encourage you that if there's something that you want to do, that God is showing you that you need to be doing, then I would implore you to do it now. Do it now. Go now and start the ball rolling. You may not have what you think you need, but you still got to show up, because your provision is where the war is, where the battle is. So you got to show up. Shout out to Pastor Ray. Shout out to Pastor Ray and Danette. Awesome message. Awesome. Shout out to the whole RCCBA. Shout out to everybody who chose to come on tonight. And that's all I got, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Holla at y'all. Let's take a walk.